Something is eating you alive, and nobody sees it. You look fine on the outside. Maybe you're successful. Maybe you have everything people say you should want. But inside, there's a hunger that never goes away. An emptiness that no achievement, no relationship, no amount of success can fill. Addiction isn't just about drugs or alcohol, it's about escape. It's about surviving a pain so deep that you'll do anything to not feel it. Some people numb themselves with work, some with relationships, some with food, some with perfect performance. The substance changes, but the wound remains the same. Most people think addiction is a choice, a weakness, something you can just stop if you try hard enough. But they're wrong. So wrong. Addiction is a scream, a desperate message from a part of you that's been hurt, a part that's still waiting to be heard. Think about the things you do to avoid feeling, the habits you've built, the ways you distract yourself, the moments you push down emotions. These aren't just habits, they're survival strategies. Your mind has created these patterns to protect you from a pain you weren't ready to face. Every addiction has a story, and that story isn't about the thing you're addicted to. It's about what happened to you, the moments that broke something inside, the times you felt alone, the experiences that made you believe you weren't enough. Your addiction is a map, a complex, painful map of your inner world. It shows where you've been hurt, where you've been abandoned, where you've learned to survive instead of live. It's not a weakness. It's a brilliant survival mechanism that kept you alive when nothing else could. Imagine your pain as a child, a scared, wounded child inside you. Most of the time, we try to silence this child. We tell it to be quiet, to be strong, to move on. But what if instead you listened? What if you saw your addiction not as an enemy but as a messenger? This isn't about blaming yourself. This isn't about feeling more shame. This is about understanding, about seeing the incredible strength it took to survive, about recognizing that the part of you that seeks escape is the same part that wants to heal. Your addiction is trying to tell you something important, something about yourself that you've been too afraid to hear. It's a call from the deepest part of you, a call for healing, a call for understanding, a call to finally truly see yourself. This is your moment, to stop running, to stop hiding, to start listening. Carl Jung saw something that most people miss. Addiction isn't a problem. It's a messenger, a desperate attempt to reach something sacred that's been lost. In ancient times, people used substances in sacred rituals, not to escape, but to connect, to touch something deeper than everyday life. Today, we've lost that meaning. We use substances, relationships, work, anything to fill a void we can't even name. Jung believed that every addiction is a spiritual crisis. It's not about the drug or the behavior. It's about a soul crying out for meaning, for connection, for something real. Think about the moments you feel most empty, the times when nothing seems to satisfy, when you're surrounded by everything you're supposed to want but still feel like something's missing. That emptiness? It's not a weakness. It's a call from the deepest part of yourself. Most people try to fix addiction by removing the substance, but Jung saw it differently. He understood that the addiction is just a symptom, a sign that something inside is out of balance. Like a fever is a sign of an illness, addiction is a sign of a deeper spiritual hunger. We're taught to see addiction as a failure, as a moral weakness. But what if it's actually a failed attempt at healing, a twisted way of trying to reconnect with ourselves? Every time you reach for something to numb the pain, you're actually trying to heal something, to fill a hole that's been there for a long time. The world around us is designed to keep us disconnected from ourselves, from each other, from anything meaningful. We're given 1,000 ways to distract ourselves, to numb ourselves, to avoid feeling anything real. And addiction, it's a rebellion against that numbness. Jung said that human beings can't live by reason alone. We need myths. We need symbols. We need something that gives shape to our inner world. When those symbols disappear, our soul begins to starve. And when the soul is hungry, it finds food wherever it can, even if that food is destructive. Your addiction is speaking a language, not a language of words, but a language of pain, of longing, of a part of you that's been silenced for too long. It's saying something important, something about what you've lost, about what you're missing. This isn't about judging yourself. This is about listening, about understanding that the part of you that seeks escape is the same part that wants to heal, the same part that wants to live, really live. Every addiction carries a dream a dream of connection, of meaning, of feeling alive. The substance isn't the problem. The problem is the empty space the substance is trying to fill. You're not broken. You're not a failure. You're a human being with a deep, unmet hunger for something real, something true, something that goes beyond the surface of things. This is your invitation to listen, to understand, to see your addiction not as a curse but as a map to your deepest self. There's a part of you that you've never met, a hidden self, the self you've been running from your entire life. Carl Jung called this the shadow, everything you've pushed down, hidden away, refused to look at. Your addiction isn't random. It's a precise map of your deepest wounds. Every behavior, every escape, every moment of self-destruction is a message from the parts of yourself you've been too scared to face. Most people think healing means getting rid of the painful parts, but Jung saw it differently. He believed the gold, the real treasure, is hidden in the darkest parts of ourselves, the parts we're most afraid to see. Think about the memories you can't talk about, the moments that still hurt, the experiences you've tried to forget. They don't disappear, they wait, they become your shadow. And the shadow doesn't just sit quietly, it speaks, it screams, it finds ways to be heard. Imagine your pain as an underground river. On the surface, everything looks calm. You look successful. You look together. But underneath, there's a current of unresolved hurt. Your addiction is that current finding its way to the surface. Every time you try to numb yourself, you're actually trying to protect a wounded part of you. A part that was hurt, a part that never got to heal, a part that's still waiting to be seen, to be heard, to be loved. The world taught you to be strong by hiding your pain, to be successful by pushing down your feelings. But that's not strength, that's survival. And survival has a cost. The cost is disconnection from yourself. Your shadow carries everything you've been told to reject, the anger you're not allowed to feel, the sadness you're supposed to get over, the pain you're told to forget. These aren't weaknesses, they're messages. They're parts of you waiting to be integrated. Jung believed that what we resist persists. The more you try to push down these parts of yourself, the louder they become. They show up in your relationships, in your work, in the ways you self-sabotage, in your addiction. This isn't about blaming yourself. This is about understanding, about seeing that every part of you, even the parts you're most ashamed of, is trying to protect you, is trying to heal you. Addiction is a language, a complicated, painful language of survival. It's saying, look at me, listen to me, I'm still here, I'm still hurting. It's the shadow demanding to be seen. The path to healing isn't about removing these parts. It's about listening to them, understanding them, bringing them into the light, accepting them, loving them. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's the most honest part of you, the part that refuses to be silenced, the part that knows what you really need, the part that's been waiting for you to stop running. This is your invitation, to turn and face the parts of yourself you've been afraid of, to see that your pain isn't a weakness. It's a strength waiting to be understood. Your shadow is calling, and it's time to listen. The internal battlefield, the war. Within, you are not one person. You are a whole world of different parts, all fighting for survival. Carl Jung understood something profound. Inside you, there's an entire universe of competing voices. One part wants to heal, another wants to destroy. One part dreams, another fears. One part reaches for connection, another builds walls to protect itself. Most people think they're supposed to have it all together, to be one solid, unchanging self, but that's a lie. You're a living, breathing battlefield of different needs, fears, and hopes. Think about the moments of inner conflict, when you want to change, but something holds you back. When you know something is bad for you, but you do it anyway. When you make a decision, then immediately sabotage yourself. These aren't random. These are different parts of you fighting for control. Imagine yourself as a house with many rooms. In one room, there's a part of you that wants to be healthy, to be free. In another, there's a part terrified of change. In another, a part still carrying old pain. In yet another, a part that knows exactly what it needs to heal. Your addiction isn't a single problem. It's a conversation between these different parts. The part that uses substances or behaviors is actually trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe from something deeper, something more painful. The part of you that wants to escape is the same part that wants to survive. The part that self-destructs is the same part that wants to heal. They just don't know how to work together. Jung believed that our inner conflicts aren't something to fight against. They're something to understand. Each part of you has a story, has a reason for existing, has something important to say. The voice that tells you you're not good enough, it's trying to protect you from disappointment. The behavior that seems destructive, it's a survival strategy from a time when you were hurt. The addiction, it's a complicated message about something you've never been able to face. This isn't about winning the war inside you. It's about bringing these parts together, about listening, about understanding. Your self-destructive patterns aren't a sign of weakness. They're a sign of incredible survival skills. You've been carrying pain that would have destroyed many people, and you're still here, still fighting, still hoping. The most powerful healing happens when you stop fighting yourself, when you start seeing these different parts not as enemies but as wounded parts of yourself that need love, that need understanding, that need to be heard. Your internal conflict is a language, a complex, painful language of survival. It's saying, I'm hurt, I'm scared, I'm trying to protect myself. Each part of you is trying its best to keep you safe, even if the methods seem destructive. This is your invitation to stop the war, to start a conversation, to see that every part of you, even the parts you're most ashamed of, is just trying to survive, is just trying to be loved. You are not broken. You are a complex, beautiful universe of experiences. And healing is about bringing those experiences together, about finding harmony in the chaos. Your internal battlefield is waiting, not to be conquered, but to be understood. Healing isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming real. Carl Jung understood something revolutionary. Transformation doesn't happen by fighting your demons. It happens by listening to them, by understanding the story they're trying to tell. Your pain is not your enemy. It's a teacher, a messenger, a map to your deepest self. Everything you've been running from, everything you've been trying to escape, these are the exact things that will set you free. Most people think healing is about removal, about getting rid of the parts of themselves they don't like. But true, healing is about integration, about bringing all the broken pieces together, about creating a whole from what was once fragmented. Imagine your wounded self as a shattered mirror. For years you've been trying to hide the cracks, to pretend the mirror is still whole. But healing isn't about fixing the mirror. It's about seeing the beauty in how the light passes through those cracks. Your addiction, your pain, your struggles, they're not mistakes. They're invitations. Invitations to something deeper, to understanding yourself in a way you never have. Before, Jung believed that the most powerful transformation happens when you stop running, when you turn and face the very things you've been afraid of, when you say to your pain, I see you, I hear you, I'm listening. This isn't about forgiving everyone who hurt you. This is about freeing yourself. Every time you've been told to get over it or move on, those were lies. You don't get over pain. You move through it, you understand it. You make it part of your story instead of letting it control your story. Transformation is messy. It's not a straight line. Some days you'll feel like you're falling apart. Other days you'll feel like you're breaking through. And both are okay. Both are part of the journey. The parts of you that you've been trying to hide, they're not your weakness. They're your strength waiting to be discovered. Your addiction, your pain, your struggles, they're not what's wrong with you. They're what's most honest about you. Think about the times you felt most alive. They weren't comfortable. They were moments when you pushed past your fear, when you did something that scared you, when you listened to the part of you that wanted to grow. Healing is an act of courage. It's about creating space for all of you. The broken parts, the strong parts, the parts you're proud of, the parts you're ashamed of, all of it. Your pain is not a punishment. It's a process, a sacred process of becoming more of who you really are, of stripping away everything that isn't true, of finding the essence of yourself beneath all the layers of protection. This isn't about becoming someone new. This is about becoming more of yourself, more true, more real, more alive. Your addiction stops being a curse when you see it as an invitation to know yourself on a deeper level, to understand the language of your own soul. Transformation isn't about perfection. It's about presence, about showing up, about being willing to feel everything, to see everything, to love everything. You are not your addiction. You are not your pain. You are the incredible strength it took to survive. You are the courage it takes to heal. This is your moment, your rebirth. Not perfect, not without scars, but whole, finally whole. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. Carl Jung once said that we are not what happened to us, but what we choose to become. Your story isn't defined by your struggles. It's defined by your courage to face them. Remember everything we've explored: the hidden pain, the internal battles, the shadow waiting to be understood, the complex language of your addiction. These aren't just words, they're a map. Your map. Healing isn't a destination, it's a journey. Some days you'll feel like you're flying. Other days you'll feel like you're drowning. And both are okay. Both are part of becoming whole. The world will try to simplify your experience, to reduce your pain to a problem that needs fixing. But you know better now. Your struggles are not a weakness. They are a language, a deep, complicated conversation between different parts of yourself. You are not broken. You are in process, always in process. Your addiction was never the problem. It was a messenger, a complicated, painful way of telling you something important about yourself. Something you needed to hear, something you needed to understand. There will be people who won't understand your journey, who will want to reduce your experience to simple solutions, who will tell you to just stop, to just move on. But you know now that healing isn't about stopping. It's about understanding. Your pain has been waiting to be heard. Your heart has been waiting to heal. Your soul has been waiting to breathe. Jung believed that the most powerful transformation happens when we stop fighting ourselves, when we start listening, when we bring light to the parts we've kept in darkness. This isn't about becoming perfect. This is about becoming real, about becoming more of yourself than you've ever been before. Every struggle you've survived, every moment you've felt lost, every time you've picked yourself up, these are not failures. These are chapters of an incredible story of survival, of hope, of transformation. Your addiction does not define you. Your pain does not limit you. Your past does not control you. You are not your struggles. You are the incredible strength it took to survive them. The most radical act of healing is showing up, exactly as you are. Broken, healing, struggling, growing. This is your moment. Your invitation to something deeper. Not a cure, not a quick fix, but a journey home to yourself.